And so I started going down a rabbit hole and then understanding smart contracts, and I was like, oh wow, it's basically like an if-then statement, but like done with just code, removing the third party, which is amazing. And then I got into Cardano and the UTXO, the extended
Yeah.
UTXO, and then understanding all the nuances on Cardano. And
So like, yeah, I mean, I first got into the blockchain space, like I said, with Cardano. Just started reading the white papers, reading Nick Szabo's paper on smart contracts. UTXO interested me just because I knew like the scalability concerns with Ethereum, sort of at a fundamental level, right? It's like you have like this single-threaded machine, and then the UTXO model offered this multi-threaded approach. So like that was kind of my formative thing of like getting introduced. And so smart contracts are these things, but what can you actually do with them? All sorts of financial applications, but again, that wasn't my interest. So I'm like, what can, like real world things can you do to facilitate agreements between people for like getting paid for doing something? And I very quickly recognized like, well, social media marketing is one of those clear things because we have clear data for it. Because it's really hard. That's the biggest problem when you're trying to build these agreements, like pay someone for doing something, is well, how do you actually prove that someone did something? So pretty quickly I'm like, so I had some background in e-commerce before, so I knew a little something about influencer marketing. Never really got a chance to use it that much myself because I was in such a niche industry, but I like already knew this as a solid use case, and so I started pursuing that. When I first actually like started working with things, I sort of assumed that oracles were a given, that it was just a solved problem, that if data was on the internet, like we can get it onto the blockchain, right? Like,
yeah.
duh. And then I quickly realized, like, no, this is actually a very difficult problem, that there really wasn't, like, Chainlink existed, and that's, I knew about it, but the existing data sources were very much on Rails. I mean, you had price feeds. That was pretty much it. Well, proof of reserve too, but there was nothing where I could request custom data. Certainly nothing where I could get social media data onto the blockchain. And so, after kind of like figuring out that's when I really dove into the Chainlink rabbit hole a little bit, and started playing around with their tech. And that's when I kind of learned about the Chainlink hackathon, which is really sort of what spawned me getting into Chainlink Labs.
Yeah, man, that's such an interesting journey. It's so cool to hear everybody's story because it's so unique and different depending on who I talk to. I've spoken to hundreds of different Web3 professionals from all different aspects and walks of life and different verticals within the space too.